What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all doing well. So I still get a ton of questions about basic setups, basic recording setups, specifically using something like the HX Stomp or the Podgo as your audio interface. So today we're gonna do just that, sort of a entry-level, low-level, get you started, up and running, using the HX Stomp in this situation as your audio interface. I'm using a 2020 MacBook Air with an M1 chip. I'm using Studio One. Everything is working flawlessly, but the principle is exactly the same. On a PC, you'll install your drivers, you'll install HX Edit, and so long as you have your HX Stomp selected as your audio interface inside of whatever DAW you're using, the setup will be essentially the same. This is just a kind of an overview of the basic principles. Basically just a refresher course. So why don't we dive in? Let me show you what we're working with. If you're into guitars, metal riffage, mixing, and everything in between, hit subscribe and follow along. Okay, so we're here in Studio One and we need to make sure that we have HX Stomp selected as our audio interface. This is gonna be the same thing on PC. So you can click on this, we're at the start page, click on this icon of an audio interface and just select, HX Stomp, or if you're using Helix LT, Helix Floor, Helix Rack. And then you're going to select the block size, depending on your machine, how low you can go without introducing too much, audio issues, popping, clipping, stuttering, stuff like that. So we hit OK. Now we're going to go create a new song. And we'll just call this HX Interface Test. Not text, test. Okay. All right, so we're here instead of a blank project. And so let's create 3 tracks. And we're going to have 2 and a DI. So if we go to, what I did is I clicked on this drop-down menu for inputs, and this shows our inputs for our interface, or we can go to Audio I/O Setup, or if we go to Mixer and click on I/O, you can also bring this up. So this is basically showing the inputs and the outputs for your HX Stomp or Helix Rack, etc., etc. What we're going to do, this is Helix left and right. This is combined, so it's stereo. So we can rename it. So we'll just call it ST for stereo, ST Stomp. We'll call it left Stomp, and we'll call it right Stomp, okay? And we're going to add one more, and that's going to be input 5, which is going to be our DI Stomp, okay? And then we're going to go apply. Hit OK. So now we're just going to record something. So if I hit record, we can see that we're monitoring there. So I have both of these with the Stomp as the input, and we want to change the input for this to our DI. So we'll call this guitar right, call this guitar left, we'll call this DI. Okay? Cool. So let's arm this, and we'll arm this as well for our DI. And we'll hit record. All right, so if we play, we will hear the treated affected guitar tone and the DI. Cool. Now we can just listen to the DI. just the treated guitar. Real inspiring riffage, right? I know. So cool, there's proof of concept. We recorded our treated guitar, our affected guitar with the Stomp, and we also captured a DI if we want to run it back through the HX Stomp or your Helix Rack, Helix Floor, Helix LT. So how do we do that? It's a little more complicated, but not terribly complicated. Let me show you how to do that. So we'll mute this, and we're going to create another track, create a mono track. We'll call this retract guitar right. Okay. So we're going to select this. We basically need to create another output to send it back through our Helix device. So we're going to go back to our inputs and outputs and create an output. Okay. Add a mono. And we'll call this DI out. So what we're going to do is switch it to output 5. So we're going to create this output, and it's basically, instead of capturing our input or from the guitar input, it's going to be looking on USB audio channel 5, which is going to be the DI. So we hit apply. All right. So now, instead of this going out main, we're going to go DI out here. And then we're going to switch the input on our guitar tone instead of our Helix device. Instead of main left and right, we're going to switch it to USB 5 and 6. So it's going to be looking for audio coming in on that USB channel. All right. So now when I play, we're not getting any sound because it's not looking for audio through our guitar cable anymore. It's looking on USB 5 and 6. Hope you're following with me. So now we're going to hit ARM for this. So now when we hit play, it's going to be sending this channel out to USB 5 and 6 because there's 8 channels of audio on the USB signal. I don't want to go too far into that. Trust me. It's going to be sending out 5 and 6. This is going to be going through the Helix and then back onto this channel. So if I hit record, okay. Now, if I solo this, it's going to be the affected guitar tone. So there we go. We just now ran a DI back into our Helix device, back into our DAW, and retracked it if you wanted to do that. Now, I never do this because I commit to my guitar tones. It's just my personal preference. But if you wanted to save a take and work on the guitar tone later, this is how you would do it. And it works almost exactly the same with your other Helix devices. You just need to read the manual and check what USB input and output. So let me show you. If I bring up HX Edit and we have the HX Stomp on this machine, it's looking for the DI on 5 and 6. On the Helix Rack and I think the Helix LT and Helix Floor, it's looking for it on 7 and 8. So you're going to need to make adjustments there where we created another output, the DI, instead of 5. It's going to be 7 or 8. That's the difference. Again, take a look at the manual. There's good information inside of there. And I do have another video on this. Again, this is sort of just a refresher. So I hope that you guys found this helpful. I know not too much flash happening in this video, not very in depth. It seems a little bit complicated. If you still have more questions, leave them down in the comment section below. I'll try and help you. Some of the other guys are more than happy to help you as well. But I just wanted to kind of, once again, kind of just refresh this. I've said refresh about 10 times. I'm going to say it maybe 1 or 2 more times. All appropriate links down below in the description, including links to my music. And if you dig what I'm putting down, hit subscribe and follow along. I hope you guys found this helpful. Thank you guys so much for watching. Special shout out to those of you supporting me on Patreon and of course here as members on YouTube. And if you're looking for other ways to support me, the channel, and what we're doing, I of course have music for sale on Bandcamp and available everywhere music is streamed. I hope you guys are all doing well. I hope you're staying safe, and we'll see you in the next one.